We have reached the traditional peak of the hurricane season. I'm Jeff Huffman here from the Storm Center. It is in the second week of September when traditionally hurricane frequency is at its highest in the Atlantic Basin. So for the next 10 days, we start to come down from the peak, but still, this is a very active time of year according to the history books. And we've already had 8 named storms, the newest one forming late Wednesday night. It's called Tropical Storm Henri. All right, and it's way out to the east of Bermuda, no threat to land. Here's the state of the season. 8 storms. That's all that we had last year, the entire season. And we're pacing higher than expected, at least according to the seasonal forecast as it relates to the number of storms. But the impact has been relatively minor so far because El Nino is playing a significant factor. That was the premise of the seasonal forecast. We still have a long way to go, and a storm can still affect Florida, especially if it develops in the Gulf of Mexico later in the year. That is not, of course, what's happening with Henri. It is a tropical storm that is struggling because of wind shear. It becomes extra tropical and forecast to move out to the northern Atlantic over the weekend. So nothing to worry about with our latest tropical storm. And the rest of the Atlantic Basin is relatively quiet. There is a wave moving off the west coast of Africa. It has a decent chance of developing, but like its predecessors, it will struggle when it moves into that hostile El Nino environment there in the Caribbean. We call that the El Nino graveyard, if you will. Closer to home, I wanted to show you the jet stream forecast because look at this. We have a front draped across the northern part of the state and maybe even moving into central Florida this weekend, an unusually strong front. And when these fronts stall over the very warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico, we have to watch them closely. And some of the forecast data suggests something trying to organize there near the Texas coast. We'll keep an eye on it, but as of right now, there is no immediate threat to the state of Florida from the tropics, and overall, they're going to stay quiet over the next 5 days.